Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Mike, your boy Mr. Chow here, coming at you with another video. Gonna talk to you guys right now about my first time ever going to Fairfield Hills Insane Asylum, or State Hospital rather, in Newtown, Connecticut. So let's jump right into this story. So it all started one day, how many years ago? It's hard to tell. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I was at my boy's house, my buddy's house, and we were watching YouTube videos actually. And it was around Halloween time, and the topic came up of urban exploring, and we started talking about it. And he mentioned the fact that his older brother had been to a location in Connecticut known as Fairfield Hills, um, and that it was a pretty cool place. A lot of buildings, a lot of actually had underground tunnels and whatnot, and it was a dope place to go and check out and explore. So I was interested right off the bat, and from there I went home and I looked up YouTube videos about Fairfield Hills, and saw a few on there that really caught my attention. The place looked awesome, a lot of history, and a lot of vibes there to catch as well. So I was hooked right off the bat. Let's leave it at that. In any case, from the same day I found out that Fairfield Hills even existed, it was the same day that I planned my first urban exploration trip to that location, and it was set in stone. So what do? Put together a backpack for myself. I throw some flashlights in there. I throw some snacks in there. I grab my pepper spray just in case. You never know. And I hit up a few friends of mine, and we decided to go that night and check it out firsthand. So that's my first time ever going, guys. So let's get into the story even more. Y'all better be ready. But it was really awesome. So let's talk about it some more. Anyways, so that night we went at night for the first time too. So it was even that much more intense than if we were to have gone during the daytime. But we go at night. So I pick up my buddies, and we take the 45 minute-ish drive up to Fairfield Hills in Newtown, Connecticut. And we're looking out for security, right? Because I read online that there is some security on the property. Whether they're there or not, that's a hit or a miss. But we wanted to be mindful of that and keep an eye out for them. So we drove around the parking lot and the facility areas for a little bit of time. Drove around for a while, scoping the place out. It was my first time there and their first time there as well. So luckily, the property has been made public grounds in the recent past, and it's open to the public. You just have to stay a distance away from the buildings that still remain. So we were allowed to be on the property. We just couldn't go in the buildings, which we definitely did, but you know what I'm getting at. So after driving around for a little, we noticed some holes in some of the fences that were surrounding the buildings, and we planned to go in our first building, which I now know to be as Kent House. It was a patient housing and treatment building on the property. Of course, back when it was in operation and open. Now it's been closed since 1995. So, anyways, we parked the car, grabbed my backpack out of the back seat, and they grabbed their backpacks, whatnot, and we continue. We go on foot, and we start walking. Start walking towards that hole in the fence we saw, one of the holes in the fences, and we go through it. And at that point, we still didn't know where or how we were going to get into the building. We just figured out how to get through the fence. So at that point, we're still looking for an entrance. Luckily, my buddy actually saw an opening. There was a window that was busted and opened, and it wasn't sealed or boarded off or boarded shut. It was actually accessible for us to get into the building. So right off the rip, we saw it and we took our chance and we went right to that window. We got into the building as quickly as possible so that no one driving around the complex would see us going in to the building actually. So we got in there real quick. So we get in the building, and right in front of us is our first staircase that we're met with. And we decide to start off in the basement and work our way up. So we head down the one level of stairs to the basement floor, and we proceed from there. The place is dark, pitch dark. Without our flashlights, you wouldn't have been able to see the hand in front of your face, that type of thing. But the place is really cool. A lot of old stuff in the buildings and just history in itself right in front of our eyes. So we start walking down the hallway in the basement, and we already know we're gonna get spooked a little bit. You feel me? Like, it was spooky in itself. First time there too, so it was a little overwhelming. But yeah, you got these weird feelings when you walk through the buildings. We noticed that right off the bat. Felt like someone's watching you, kind of, but it wasn't that bad. And in any case, we're walking down in the basement somewhere, and we hear footsteps. I hear footsteps down the end of the corridor that we're walking down. So we were about to turn around and just take our chances and be out and completely leave Fairfield Hills, because that scared us enough. But no, we kept walking towards the footsteps I heard. I didn't tell them either that I heard footsteps, but I did eventually. Any case, we get to the end of that corridor, that hallway, and no one's there. I must have been hearing something, or it could have been maybe supernatural. You never know. These places could have residual energy and could be haunted. But at that point in time, I just kept it quiet for a little bit until later on that I heard footsteps. I didn't want to freak them out. Keep that in mind. So we get to the end of the hallway, and then we're met with another staircase. We go up the staircase to the first floor. Nothing really takes place there. Second floor, nothing really takes place there. The third floor is when things started to get even more exciting because we found access to the roof. Well, not to the roof, but to the attic. And from the attic, there's a ladder in the attic that leads up, up, and even more up to a lookout tower, observation deck, which is like a steeple looking thing that comes out of the building. So that's like 80, 90, 100 feet off the ground if you're looking at the building from the outside. So we go to the ladder and we start climbing up the ladder. We put our book bags at the bottom of the ladder. We just climb up by our own selves. And we get to the top, we take a few pictures, which was really cool, really high up, so we could see the whole property from the top of that lookout observation deck. So that was nice. And nothing really crazy happened from there, as far as supernaturally speaking. Just got to appreciate a great view and a really cool urban exploration trip at that point in time. It was sketchy though, yo. I'm not gonna lie. Like climbing up the ladder, it was rattling, it was shaking. Felt like the thing could fall apart at any second, type of thing. But it didn't, luckily, and we were fine. We made it up and down in one piece. And from at that point, we just decided to continue back down to the not third, the second, the first, and we actually checked out the basement again, basement floor. And after that, we left that building. We got out of there as quick as we could. And I think we went to another building actually that night. Oh yeah, we went to the power plant building, which was on the property, the same place. We snuck in the back. We found an entrance, and it was just a massive building, an open building. And you heard yourself, you could talk, and you hear your voice echo, that type of thing. It was a really open space in the building and whatnot. But we're in the new building that we just got to now. We start walking around, and nothing's really happening. We're just taking in the history of the place. Big empty building for what it's worth. Still a really cool place to go to though. It was awesome. We're in the building, and that's when something else happened. That's when we heard enough. Well, they heard for the first time. I heard for the second time footsteps, and these footsteps, they were louder, a lot louder. So we didn't take our chances. We didn't want to run into anything that we couldn't take care of ourselves, if you know what I mean. And we bounced. We got out of that building real quick. For what it's worth, I'll put it to you like that. We weren't in there that long before we heard the footsteps, and when we heard the footsteps, we were out. We dipped. We got out of there quick. And then pretty much after that, after they heard the footsteps too, that's after the point that by that point in time is when I let them in on the fact that I heard footsteps in the other building too. I didn't tell them originally, like I mentioned. I didn't want to freak them out in the first place, but then they heard it for themselves, so I was like, all right, we're good to go. I'm letting y'all know that I heard something in the first building we were in. So now we heard it for a second time. Yeah, we're out. We're bouncing. Peace. And so we did. That's when we started walking back to our car. Um, After the whole night was said and done, taking pictures, filming the place, taking in the history, taking in the vibes, we get back to the car and we take our first breath of what felt like natural air for the first time in a long time. We were in those old, abandoned, muggy, and asbestos-filled buildings, so we finally took a fresh breath of air, clean air, and then we started to recap about how the night went. And all in all, we had a great time. We really, really did. It was our first time, all of us, going to that location, and definitely was a place that we'd be going back to in the near future, and we did. But that time we decided we were going to go during the daytime so we could appreciate the place for what it's worth more, take in a little bit more of the history and the whole vibes of the place. And we did when we went back. We went during the day, I think about a week after we went the first time. So, yeah. Anyways, when we were in the car, we were just discussing about how we all heard the footsteps, and then it was like that kind of thing where you're like, you heard that? I heard that too. You heard that? Yeah. It was crazy because we all confirmed with each other that we heard it, and that's why we dipped in the first place and got out of there. We would have stayed longer, but after hearing that, it was a little too much for us to take in. Not even knowing the place that well, just kind of getting in the hang of things and taking in all the urban exploration we were doing. It happened so quickly that it was too much for us to just be like, all right, let's stay in the building where there's possibly someone, a murderer even. Yeah, God forbid, but still, possibly something in the building that would be harm's way for us if we found out what they were, what they actually were, what it was. You know what I mean? Now I'm rambling on. But the point is, it was a lot better of us in the moment for us to get out of there rather than come face to face with what was or what could have been making the footsteps in the first place, if you know what I'm saying. That's right. We thought it did. In any case, we did end up, like I said, going back to that location again during the daytime. And since then, been 4 or 5 years since the first time I've been there. So I want to say I've been there dozens and dozens of times. I know the place like the back of my hand. I could navigate all the remaining open underground tunnels like that. I can't even snap, but still like that. Um, I know the place inside and out for what it's worth, and the place is amazing. There's a lot to photography, to photograph there, and there's a lot to take in. Highly, highly recommend it, and highly recommend going to take an adventure and an urban exploration journey to that location, Fairfield Hills in Newtown, Connecticut. If you guys are ever in Connecticut, or you guys live in Connecticut and have yet to go to the place, I really do highly recommend it. Great, great, great vibes. Um, yeah, there are some weird feelings you get in the buildings and on the property, but the vibes overall, good to go. You can have a great time. Word of me. Anyway, I know we did, for what it's worth. Unfortunately, the town of Newtown is taking over the property at a rather rapid rate, and they're redeveloping a lot of the buildings, repurposing buildings, tearing buildings down. So, what remains is not going to be there that much longer, and if it is, God bless us all, because that would be awesome. But the rate things are going, it's getting a lot harder to get into buildings. A lot of things are getting patched up and boarded up, and sealed off for the public not to be able to get into. So if you want to check out Fairfield Hills in the meantime, do so as quickly as possible so you guys can take in the experience for yourselves. And you might get a paranormal or a supernatural or a out of this world type experience. You never know, but until you do it, you're not going to. Sorry, my camera cut out. I ran out of storage space on my phone. But like I was saying, in any case, you're not going to know what you're going to experience it or how you're going to experience things until you actually go and do it for yourself firsthand. So highly recommend you guys go check out Fairfield Hills without saying too much more. You guys won't be let down. Trust me. Great place to go to. An urban explore. Awesome place. Really is. Lots of history and lots of vibes there. On everything. It really is. And if you guys have already gone, make sure you guys drop a comment down below. Anyways, this is, before I get into that, this is pretty much a wrap on this video, guys. Thanks for watching. But if you guys go and have a good experience, or whatever kind of experience you have, drop a comment down below, because I want to know what type of experience you guys had at Fairfield Hills in Connecticut. And drop a like. I appreciate the support, all the positive feedback in the comments. Let me know how you guys like this video, my little story on my first time going to Fairfield Hills. Make sure you smash that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content to come, which is coming out very soon, guys. So that's something to look forward to. As always, though, guys, cheers and chow. And until next time, God bless y'all, and good vibes only. Remember that, y'all. For real, for real. Till next time. Peace.